Hello and good morning my dear kids. So this video is for class 6 students, and since we were dealing with the topic fractions, so I will be continuing on behalf of Mr. Vivek for the next few topics regarding the fractions. Okay. So first of all, I believe that all the basics has been done by Mr. Vivek on the previous video. So okay, those who haven't watched the previous video, please go through the previous video, because I will be starting from the point where he has left. Okay. So okay, I was just showing you how a fractional form is written and what you are familiar with and all those kinds of stuff. Okay, so if you are familiar with divide 3 by 2, the simple division question, isn't it? Divide 3 divided 3 by 2. So see how it is written as, say 3 by 2, divide 3 by 2 is written as 3 by 2, isn't it? So now this is all known as our fractional form. Okay, this is how a fractional form is written. It's nothing but simple division. Okay. So you must be familiar with the division part, isn't it? Because we have done those in your smaller classes as well, junior classes as well, isn't it? So say simple division can be written in the fractional form. Okay. So divide 3 by 2 is written as 3 by 2 as a fractional form. Okay. And the part which is written above, is known as our numerator. Okay. And the part which is written below is known as our denominator. Now see, these are the very important terms. Okay. You need to memorize, or you have to understand what are the exact names of the terms. Okay, which one is called numerator, which one is called denominator. Okay, the above part, remember always the above part is known as our numerator, the bottom part is known as our denominator. Okay, now what happens in fractional form is, see, we have types of fractions as well. Okay, so what are the types of fractions? First of all comes as proper fraction. Okay, proper fraction. So what happens in proper fraction is where numerator is less than our denominator. Where the numerator is less than our denominator. Now see, I'm just picking up the terms now. Okay, this n represents numerator, d represents denominator. Okay, so in a fraction, it may happen that in a fraction the numerator may be smaller than the denominator, isn't it? So the examples are given as, see, 2 by 3, 1 by 2, and I guess you can go on with the other examples as well. Okay, the simple thing in here is that when the above part is smaller than the bottom part, as simple as that. Okay. When the numerator is less than denominator, those type of fractions are known as our proper fractions. Okay, those type of fractions are known as our proper fractions. Okay, next comes the next topic is our improper fraction. Now see, what happens in improper fraction is the numerator is greater than our denominator. So this may also occur, isn't it? So you may get questions like, see, first of all, the same question as given on the first example, that is 3 divided by 2. What happened here? See, the numerator is greater than the denominator. The upper part is greater than the bottom part, isn't it? So simple, when numerator is, wherever the numerator is greater than the denominator, those kind of fractions are known as our improper fractions. So the examples are given as 3 by 2, 4 by 3, and I guess that you can go on with plotting some more examples for the improper fraction, isn't it? So now see, now the next type of fraction that comes under is mixed fraction. Now see, what happens in a mixed fraction is, in a mixed fraction you will get a whole number and you will get a fractional form. Okay, you will get a whole number and you will get a fractional form. When they two are written together, then those kind of fractions are known as our mixed fraction. Now see, what happens in a mixed fraction is an improper fraction. Now listen very carefully this one. Okay, an improper fraction can always be converted to a mixed fraction. An improper fraction can always be converted to a mixed fraction, and a mixed fraction can always be converted back to again improper fraction. Now see, what happens here is, see, for this fraction, it's an improper fraction. This one's mixed fraction, isn't it? As I've just said that an improper fraction can be converted to a mixed fraction, and a mixed can be converted to improper. Now see, how a mixed fraction is converted to improper is, see, all you need to do is just pick up the denominator and go clockwise. See, the clockwise direction where the second hand of the clock rotates in this direction, isn't it? The clockwise direction, first of all you need to multiply, then again clockwise direction you need to add the number. Now see what happens here, 3 into 1, it's 3, isn't it? 3 into 1 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, isn't it? So we have a fraction, and actually this fraction is 5 divided by 3. Now see, this is our improper fraction, isn't it? What happened here? See, the numerator is greater than the denominator, this is improper fraction, isn't it? That's why I said an improper fraction can be converted to a mixed, as well as a mixed fraction can be converted to improper fraction. Similarly, we can again, what we can do here is we can convert this mixed fraction to improper, this mixed to improper. Clockwise, we need to pick up the denominator, go clockwise, first multiply, then you need to add the number. See, Again here 5 into 2. 5 into 2 is 10, isn't it? 10 plus 3 is 13. So this fraction is actually 13 divided by 5. It's a improper fraction where the numerator is greater than the denominator. Okay. Now see, again, how an improper fraction can be converted to a mixed. Okay, I want to show you that as well. See, for example, this one, for this fraction, that is 3 divided by 2. Now see, this can be written as, actually this means 2 is divided by 3. This is what it is, isn't it? 3 divided by 2. So now here, okay, 2 1 times 2, that's what we know, isn't it? And remainder comes as 1. Now see, what are these numbers called as? This one is known as our divisor, isn't it? And this one is known as our dividend, isn't it? Dividend. This one is known as our quotient, isn't it? You must be familiar with that, isn't it? And this one is known as our remainder. Remainder. Okay. Now see, how to, after once you have done this one, that is converted an improper, once you have divided the improper fraction and you get a remainder. Now see how it is written in the mixed fractional form. That is also very important. Okay. So what happens here is the quotient always comes first in place of whole number. We have quotient and 1, isn't it? The quotient always comes in front. Now the remainder always goes to top, and the divisor always comes to bottom. See, 2. This is how it is written. 3 by 2 can also be written as 1 by 2. Okay. Now see, let's check it again whether the answer is correct or not. Okay. So how to check it? What did I say? Whenever you have a mixed fractional form, all you need to do is pick up the denominator, then go clockwise, isn't it? Clockwise direction. First multiply, then add. Okay, so let's pick up the denominator. It's 2. Clockwise direction. First multiply, then you need to add the number. So 2 into 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. So this number is 3 divided by 2. That is what we converted our improper to the mixed one, isn't it? So this is how it is converted. Okay, the vice versa. That is, an improper can be converted to a mixed, and a mixed can be converted to improper fraction. Okay, so these are the 3 types of important fractions that we just learned. Okay, there are a few more types of fractions. Okay, we will discuss regarding that as well. And now see, now the next type of fraction we will be dealing with is, it's known as like fractions. See, now these are the like fraction. It's very important regarding the calculations under the fractions. Okay, the like fractions and the unlike fractions. So say number 4th one is known as our like fractions. Like fractions. So now what happens in like fractions is whenever you are dealing with 2 or more fractions. Okay, now see, like fractions, this like and unlike fractions is just when you are dealing with 2 or more fractions. Okay, so what happens is whenever you are dealing with 2 or more fractions, and what you have is you got the same denominator. Okay, you have a same denominator. For example, let's say 3 divided by 5, and the another fraction I have here is 1 divided by 5. Now what we have is, what I have here is I have 2 fractional forms, isn't it? I have 2 fractional forms, 2 fractional forms, same denominator. What did I say? The terms. Remember, the terms are very important. Okay, which one is numerator? You have to understand which one is known as numerator and which one is known as denominator. Okay. So what we have is whenever you are dealing with 2 or more fractional forms and the denominators are same, and at that time those fractions are known as our like fractions. As simple as that. Okay, those fractions are known as our like fractions. So let's give one more example for that. So one more example can be written as 1 divided by 3, and another one can be written as 2 divided by 3. See, for like fractions the denominator has to be same. Remember that, the denominator, not the numerator. The denominator has to be same for like fractions. Okay. So what are the important things? While with the calculations, I will tell you more about like fractions and unlike fractions. What happens with the calculations and all. Okay. We'll be dealing with the calculations under the fractions. Okay. So what I want you to understand from this one is that like fractions, I want you to recognize or differentiate between like and unlike fractions. Okay. So like fractions, as I said, with the same denominator, as simple as that. When you are dealing with 2 or more fractions, or when you are arranging the fractions, and what you get is you have the same denominators. Then at that time it's known as our like fractions. The fractions with the same denominator are known as like fractions. Simple. Okay. So we don't care about the numerator. It's all about denominator. Remember that. Okay. And the last one we have is unlike fractions. So in unlike fractions, what happens is we have different denominator. Simple. In unlike fractions, what we have is different denominator. Though the numerator can be same, okay, though the numerator can be same, but whenever for two fractional forms, if the denominators are different, those are unlike fractions. Simple. For example, what you can write here is 1 by 4, and suppose if I have given the term as 5 by 4, not 5 by 4, 5 by 3. Okay, see, two different denominators, so they are simple unlike fractions. Okay, so what did I just say? The numerators, though the numerators can be same. Okay, let's go with another example. Suppose I say I have written 7 divided by 4, and another one is 7 divided by 5. Now see, what happened here is that we have the same numerator, isn't it? But we have different denominators. So we don't care about numerator, remember that. Okay, so for numerator we have different numerators, same numerators but different denominators. Simple, those are unlike fraction. Okay, for like and unlike, they can only be differentiated or distinguished with the denominator. That's it. Okay, so we will discuss more about the same when we will do the calculations of the fractions. Okay, I'll tell you more about it. Till then, what I want you to understand is what are like fractions, what is a like fraction and what is an unlike fraction. I just want you to distinguish between the fractions, okay, which one is like and which one is unlike fraction. Okay, so a few more important topics under the fractions. Those are what I want you to do is I want you to write this in your copies as well. Okay, I want you to write all the topics in your copy as well. Okay, now the next topic is known as our simplest form of fraction. Now see, simplest form of fraction. Now see, what happens in the simplest form of fraction is whenever, in the simplest form of fraction, what happens is whenever in the numerator and denominator, okay, when in the numerator and denominator there are no other common factors. There are no other common factors. At that time, those fractions are known as our simplest form of fraction. Like for example, say, what you can do here is 2 by 2. Now see, you don't have any other like any other common terms in 2 and 3, isn't it? Common factors 2 can never be further. The factors of 2 can be written as 2 into 1. See, its factors can be written as 2 into 1. Similarly, 3 can be written as 3 into 1. We cannot go further beyond that, isn't it? So simple. Whenever in the numerator and denominator there is just one as a common factor, at that time it's known as simplest form of fraction. Okay. Like for example, if you are given the see, the question is given as 10 divide 10 by 4. We may get this type of question as well, isn't it? Divide 10 by 4. What is it? It's simple. Fraction is actually division. Isn't it? Division upgraded is known as your fractional form. Okay. Suppose I have a question like 10 divided by 4. So what I will go with is, I'll go with the factors of 10. Now see, factors of 10 are 2 into 5. The prime factors, 2 into 5 is 10. Isn't it? Similarly, the factors of 4 as 2 into 2. 2 into 2 is factor of 4. Isn't it? Now see, these factors, they can be, so this is what you can, these are known as factors, prime factors, isn't it? That is what you can do, isn't it? So 2 into 2, see, factor, this is how I got these factors, isn't it? Okay, so in fact, so what I have here is, in the numerator and denominator, I have not just one as common factor, but I have 2 as common factor as well, isn't it? So if once I cancel these 2 from the numerator and denominator, what happens is I am left with 5 divided by 2. Now see, now, what you can still from this one is that so this 10 by 4, it was not in its simplest form. Though it is a fraction, it was not in its simplest form. Why? Because from the numerator and denominator, I had 2 as the common factor. Isn't it? What was the condition for a simplest form? There should be just 1 as the common factor, isn't it? I have 2 as a common factor, and what I did was I have taken out the factor and cancelled the factor. Now, what I got here is 10 divided by 2 actually is 5 divided by 2. The values are equal. That is simple, like dividing 10 rupees among dividing 10 rupees among 2 kids and dividing 20 rupees among 4 kids. So see, when you divide 10 rupees among 2 kids, how much will each one get? If you divide equally, you will get 5 and 5 rupees, isn't it? Now similarly, what happens is if you have 20 rupees and you have to divide 20 rupees among 4 kids, so how much will each of them get? Each of them will get again 5 and 5 rupees, isn't it? Though the amount is different and the number of students are different, but the value is the same, isn't it? Now, these type of fractions is known as equivalent fraction, okay? So, similarly, see, I'm coming to that topic as well, equivalent fractions. Now, what I want you to understand from here is that this one, that 10 divided by 4, it's not a simplest form. Though it's a fraction, it's not in its simplest form. So how do we go from fraction to its simplest form? First of all, we need to take the factors and check whether the factors can be cancelled or not. Okay, if there are no common factors, that means they are already no common factors except one, that means they are in the simplest form. Okay, now what we can tell from here is that 10 by 4 can be written as 5 divided by 2. The values are same. The 10 by 4 fraction is not in its simplest form, whereas 5 by 2 is in its simplest form. Okay, so this is what we get to do. Okay, now coming to the next topic, that is equivalent fraction. Equivalent fraction. So what we have in equivalent fraction is, I have already given you an example. We don't care about simplest form and all in equivalent fraction. Okay, it's just that the values, whenever for the fractional form, the values are same. That's why I have given you the example just before. Like for example, 10 rupees. If 10 rupees is divided among 2 kids, how much will each one get? Each one will get 5 rupees, isn't it? Each one will get 5 rupees. We know that, isn't it? Similarly, when 20 rupees is divided among 4 kids, how much will each get? Each one will get 5 rupees. See, though the fractional forms are different. See, here it is 10 divided by 2 and here it is 20 by 2. But the values are same, see? The values are same, equal values, isn't it? Now what we have here is the numerator we have 10 in here. In the numerator we have 20 now in the fraction. The denominator we have 2, in the denominator we have 4. We have totally 2 different fractions, isn't it? We have totally 2 different numerators and different denominators. But ultimately what we see is the result is that these 2 fractions, both the fractions, they represent the same value, that is 5, isn't it? Now this type of fraction is known as what? Like fractions. Okay, so not like fractions, equivalent fractions. So that is why it can be written as 10 divided by 2 can be written as 20 divided by 4. 10 divided by 2 can be written as 20 divided by 4. Both represent the same value. They are equal fractions. That is why they are known as equivalent fractions. Okay, even though the numerators and denominators, they are totally different numbers. Okay, so this may occur that you may sometimes get equivalent fractions as well. Now see, actually what happens in an equivalent fraction is, say, 10 divided by 2, actually what is happening out here is, see, when you multiply 2 in the numerator and 2 in the denominator, you will get 20 and 4. See, actually this is what is happening out here. Okay, in the numerator and denominator, both are multiplied whenever, say, you may get questions like make equivalent fraction of a certain number. So how will you solve it? How will you do it is simple. All you need to do is pick any number and multiply the same number in the numerator as well as in the denominator. Okay, you can pick any number. So what I suggest is pick smaller number. Why to go with bigger numbers multiplication of number? Isn't it? Pick smaller number, just multiply the same number in the numerator as well as in the denominator. You will get an equivalent fraction of your desired fraction. Okay, whatever fraction you may get, you may be handling. Okay, so 10 divided by 2 into 2 in the numerator into 2 in the denominator, we get 20 by 4. Actually, what is happening out here is, see, this 2 and 2 can be cancelled, isn't it? 2 and 2, actually 2 divided by 2 is 1. So what is happening out here actually is, see, 10 divided by 2 is actually multiplying with 1. So what we know is, whenever a number is multiplied with 1, the value doesn't change, isn't it? The value doesn't change or the number doesn't change. So actually this is what is happening. That is why the values are similar for 10 divided by 2 as well as 20 divided by 4. Okay. Whenever you multiply a number, a fraction form, the numerator of the fraction and the denominator of fraction in the same number, what you get is you get equivalent fraction. Okay. What is happening out here? Actually, you are multiplying the same number with 1. Okay. That's why what I wanted to show you. Okay. So okay. Thank you. Till then, stay safe. Okay, we'll be dealing with the next topic in the next video. So what I want you to do is, till then, stay safe, take care, bye bye.